Passion, techniques, skills, art. What percentage of this make up a player?
I don't know what the percentage is, but I would say they go in this order of priority. I think number one is the passion, because there's so many ups and downs and it's so tough in this game, especially when you start talking about the pro level, that you better have some passion for it because it's going to be hard to stay with it from there. I think from there is the work ethic. You have to constantly be growing. You have to constantly grow. You have to constantly learn. You have to constantly become more, and that's where the work comes in. And then I think from there, knowing the game and then skills are also very important as well. And the reason I put them in that order is because you might find a lot of pros that are high skill, high technique, but then you also might find some that are not. They're blessed, they're taller, they're more athletic, where they don't need as much skill as maybe the average athlete, well, average pro athlete. And so the commonality, I believe, is that the passion comes first, and then when the passion comes, the work becomes easier, and the willingness to work is there, and then the skill and technique is built.
What is really needed for an athlete to grow?
To grow. I think first and foremost is a vision of what they want to become and what they want to contribute to a team. Because the way our mind works is if we don't have a vision for where we're going, we kind of stay in the same spot, and the mind does a good job of keeping us there. Like the Bible says that those without a vision shall perish. Now, I don't know if perish happens, but the growth definitely becomes stunted. And so I think that's one of the most important things. And then being able to have a circle around you that can guide you on how do you get to that vision? How do you become that player that you want to be? How do you become a contributor to this team that then contributes to winning? And I think finding those two things first, that vision and that knowing where you want to go and what you need to become, and then having that circle that can guide you there, are some of the most important things that are going to come with growing. And then, as always, you got to put work in there with that as well.
You've coached professionals and little girls, but you also go to think about real professionalism.
Yeah, I think professionalism is a word we use a lot in the pros, and I may even use it myself with the kids. But I think it's your approach, right? How do you show up every day? How do you take care of yourself? How do you make sure that you contribute to the team? Are you doing the small things when everybody else is? Are you willing to put in the same amount of work? We might all call that professionalism, but at the same time, another name could be the approach. And that's what I really try to push is, treat the game in a certain way. When I was young, it was always said, if what you give to the game is what you will get back. And I think that's a great way of saying, how you approach it is what you're going to see from it. And so that is professionalism, in my opinion. And I think approach is the better word, because sometimes the younger kids or the younger players, they go, well, I'm not a pro. Why do I need professionalism? And so the approach is what matters. And then to me, specifically, I find that very important, because I feel that if an athlete can master the approach to their sport, in basketball, football, any sport, volleyball, then it can then translate to the world, because you're not an athlete for your whole life. And so when you learn how to master the approach in a sport, you've learned how to master the approach in being successful in anything in life, because they both translate.
What do you bring with you, and what do you hope you left behind in Ragusa?
Well, I hope my passion and energy and love for the game is very evident, very, very obvious, because I do have a lot of that. And I've learned over the years of doing this that my passion can be very contagious. And so I hope I brought that to this situation. Not to say that there wasn't passion to begin with, but I know, especially a pro season can be a grind. There's ups, there's downs, there's work, you're tired, your body may be banged up, you're in a struggling situation and you're trying to grow out of that. And a lot of times passion can be that jet fuel to kind of drive you into it and go engage in it. And I hope I brought that. Obviously, I hope I brought a high professionalism and knowledge of skill and technique, so that the basketball can improve here. Again, I think the basketball here is great. That's why I love being here, because I learned too, but you know, just what my view and my perception of what is successful basketball, what is growth in basketball. I hope I brought that. And then, you know, in all, like Kobe Bryant said, one of the most important things we can do as humans is inspire others. And I've always tried to live by that, even before Kobe said that. And because that's what sports are for. You know, again, just like when I said the other question is, we learn it in sports and then we carry it out into the outside world, and you know, we bring passion and we bring inspiration to the others around us, because that's what human nature's, in my opinion, that's what it's designed for.
Just few words for the athletes of Passalacqua now.
Words for the athletes of Passalacqua. You're in a beautiful place. You're in a place that has a lot of love for basketball. You're in a place that has a lot of love for people. And just be present in this moment. Whether, again, you're in an up, you're in a down, whether things are good right now, things are rough right now. I've been here 6 times over the last, I don't know, 8 to 9 years. And it's always been the same thing: the love, the enjoyment, the drive to be better, the drive to be great, the drive to be a champion. And that's not everywhere, unfortunately. And I think just being grateful for that, being present in that, and finding a way to contribute to keep growing that is one of the most important things you can do here. And then that doesn't matter if you're one of the kids or you're one of the pros here. There's been some amazing athletes that have come, either grown up through here or came here already as adults and pros, but they have done the same thing. They have contributed and tried to do what they could to make this place even better than they found it, even though it was in a great place. And I think that's all of our jobs, especially when you can be blessed to be in a place like this and be welcome to a place like this, where it is a wonderful place to be. Is it perfect? No, but no place is perfect. And perfection more comes with what you believe something to be. So I just really hope, you know, I was a model of that, and I hope that others want to be a model, an example of, like, this is a great place, pour into it, get from it because it's beautiful, but pour into it and help let it continue to be that for the next kid that grows up here, or the next pro that comes from out of town and you know, takes a spot on a team here.
Talk in Italian.
Oh, that's, I don't care.
Capito?
Capito, that's about it. Sì, capito, andiamo, linea, and tiro. That's about it.
Okay.
Basketball terms. Yeah.